Let's see. Oh, I just got a notification on my phone that says we're live. So yeah, that's great. Awesome. So, so this is our first time ever talking. So, yeah. Why don't you call me Calm? I like to keep my identity anonymous and. Yeah. So what was it that you wanted me to call you, or? Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Lawful. All right. So now we have an idea of what to talk to about each other. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Cool. Somewhere. Ooh. I didn't know they taught law. I guess it would make sense. All the problems they would cause. That actually sounds quite interesting. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan myself, but uh, I'm actually a student as well. I study computer science. So yeah. Ah. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I'm about a year and a half away from graduating, but I have quite a few more credits than I need because of a lot of its prior military experience that gets counted. So yeah. Uh, did I? Yeah, I mean, I was in the military for a while, and that was yeah. Oh, cool. uh, so let's see. Looking at our outline of things we decided to talk about. Uh, what? So since I don't know much about you, I I always find a good place to start with these kind of things is political leanings. What do you consider your political leanings? Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. I find myself to be pretty left. I I don't. While I consider myself to be a liberal, and I think uh, it's I don't have a problem with the right. I don't. I like. I don't agree with their opinion. I don't agree with the opinions, but I can understand where they come from. For example, like on the topic of abortion, I consider myself pro-choice, but I can understand why people would make the argument for pro-life. And I think far too often, I think we I've heard the arguments of such things like if you're pro-life, then you're not actually pro-life, you're just anti-choice, and I don't think that's necessarily. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think there is a population out there of obvious. I mean, there obviously is a population of religious people who uh, I don't know about you. I'm actually an atheist. Do you consider yourself? Okay. I'm actually the president of the Secular Student Alliance, which is a bigger organization here in America. Uh, yeah, at my university, and I actually don't agree a lot with the bigger organization, and I don't think most of my group does as well. We A lot of times the bigger organization, I think, falls in line with social justice warrior thinking. Yeah, no, I don't like. So I had a meeting with I had a discussion with the guy who kind of like coordinates between our group and the larger organization. Excuse me, and he was talking about he was giving us ideas on things to do to help improve our groups, and the one of the things he suggested is get with like-minded groups on campus, and that seems striking to me because we're the only secular student group on campus. We're the only group for non-religious people, and I was like, well, we don't. There is no others. So he's like, oh, well, don't you guys have a Black Lives Matter group or a feminist group or something like that? And I'm like, I don't really consider us like-minded. I mean, we might share some sort of ideologies that may have some similarities, but I don't necessarily consider us like-minded. The only thing that it's just one of those weird things where people seem to assume that being an atheist, you have to have certain set of ideas, and the only thing that's required to be an atheist is the lack of a belief in a god. Yeah. So I struggle. Like, I'm thankful for the bigger organization because they send us tabling supplies for free that are great. Like they're great for like they're great for ways for us to interact with the school, and I'm very grateful for them for that. But I also they do push a lot of more social justice sort of stuff that I disagree with, and I wish they wouldn't take such a hard stance on those sort of issues. So, uh they that's oh man, that's ridiculous. I mean, uh mhm. Uh, this that's so crazy. Like, there's no way to come up with the best idea if you're not allowed to debate it. If I mean, you may think that you have the best idea, but you may not have the best understanding of every particular facet of that idea, and that's what a debate is for. Like, uh huh. You know, we had a similar. There's a similar thing that I've seen. It was going back to Secular Student Alliance, where they were having. It wasn't a debate. It was basically like a like they were having a conversation with people. It was like they had a table, and I can't think of what it's called, but basically people would be allowed to ask them questions, and they'd give their opinions about stuff. And before they even started, they started with telling their gender pronouns, their disabilities, their those sort of things, as if it gave credence to anything they had to say on atheism. And it serves no purpose. I don't care. I don't care if somebody calls themselves Zer, Zim, Zet, whatever. Like do whatever you want. I personally don't. I don't feel like that helps or does anything to help you. I'm not gonna go out of my way to disrespect those people, but it when it's used in a way of trying to give credence to something, it means nothing to me. Just as I don't care. I don't care if it's a woman saying something. If she has something important to say, I'll listen. If it's a guy who has something important to say, I'll listen. If those are the sort of things that really drive me insane. I believe it. Yeah, like it. I mean, I think it's a really hard thing that's going on. I think it's a huge diverse it's hard to talk to people when they're so entrenched in their ideas. Like I don't always agree with everything that a lot of the other anti-SJWs say. There's and so I do try to call them out on it, but at the same time I also try to I want it to be known that I don't just agree with people. I try to come at it rationally, and that's what I'm trying to do with my channel. Is in fact, I plan on doing something. Do you watch? Have you ever watched? I can't think of his name. The name is slipping my mind. I should have had this up. uh, the Rubin Report. That's what it is. Yes, I agree. Yes. Yeah, there was so anyways, he had Prager, the guy who owns Prager University. I can't think of his first name. And Prager is a pretty hardcore conservative. Like, I wouldn't say he's like alt-right conservative, but he really does believe in conservatism. And throughout the entire conversation that he was having with Ruben, he was he was talking about how the leftists, how they're terrible, and it's like exactly. And I think people even confuse progressivists with SJWs. Like, you can be a progressivist and not be an SJW. You can agree with those political ideals, but not agree with the manner in which they go out, and even not even agree with the way that even agree with all the things that SJWs. And true, that I do agree that progressives are closer to SJWs than centralists, obviously. But it drives me insane to constantly push the narrative that left means SJW, and that's what I see a lot of people doing. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, there are a-holes out there, and those people are allowed to be a-hole. That's my view. I mean, as long as you are not physically hurting somebody, I don't I don't care. Like, if you're a trans person and you go into a bathroom. In fact, I don't care if a full-fledged guy goes into a girl's bathroom or a full-fledged girl goes into a guy's bathroom. I've accidentally done it once or twice because it happens. Yeah. There was actually once where there was a sign for going into the guy's bathroom. I went to the right bathroom, and there was urinals in there, and it was a full guy's bathroom. And I get to the exit, and it says girls' bathroom, and it confused me so much because I thought it was in the girls' bathroom for a minute. I don't know why, because it was completely a guy's. Like, they had the things that you would expect in a guy's bathroom, and I got scared at first because I was like, oh no, I'd hope I didn't just use the women's restroom, because that's yeah. The once I did go into the girls' bathroom, and I was walking out, I did see a couple women, and I'm like, oops, and I just walked out quickly, and I just put my head down in shame, and that was that was the end of the story. And like, trans people, like, I hate the argument that trans people are going to go into the guy's bath or girls' bathroom and rape their daughters. It's just not true. I mean, if there's already laws to prevent those sort of things. There's no reason to. You know, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that I hated those sort of arguments. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was Riley. I no, it's just being an a-hole, and like it's a thing. Like you gotta just because somebody's being an a-hole, that doesn't mean that you just ignore them. I mean, there's lots of a-holes out there. Yes. I've had this conversation with plenty of people about the catcalling, and it's there are a subset of guys who think catcalling is a respectable way, not maybe not respectable, but is approach they want to go about attracting a woman. It's it's not much. It's their way of spreading their feathers as if they were a peacock, and their I think their game is do it as many times as possible, and maybe until one of them snatches on. Um, sugar legs. That's a unique one. uh, yeah. uh, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. uh, yeah. Uh, I don't. I think it's. I think as long as you're not being obscenely rude, it's annoying. I can understand that it's very annoying to some women. Um, yeah. uh, I think let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to our outline. How do you want to? So you haven't put out any videos yet, have you? Okay. Yeah. That's what I struggle with so much is trying to get the mic right. It's a tough one. I think my later videos are a little bit better, but it's still one of those. Nice. Oh yeah. So how do you want to differ your channel from other channels that you see? Mm-hmm. Okay. I kind of lost you there. What'd you say? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about the most you can do for. I understand both sides of that one. As far like I understand the Trump with the Brexit, there's a deal to be made, and you have to work about legal about getting those trade deals and a lot of the other things that are going to require a lot of legal things. Um, with Trump, there's certain things that I want him to succeed with. There's certain things I don't want him to succeed in, and succeeding is that's a that's one of those tough things. Yeah, you want him to succeed, but do you want him to succeed in the things that he wants to succeed in, or do you want him to succeed in the things that you want him to succeed in? For example, yes, that's those are the things that scare me most about Trump. Like I don't like to say I'm scared of Trump. I think I'm not like terrified. I'm not. I think that we'll get by. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I voted for Hillary. Not I hated her, Hillary. I think she was a terrible candidate. I hated her. I thought she. I mean, I've talked. I thought she was terrible from the beginning. I didn't think she was gonna win. I originally elected. I put my vote in for Bernie Sanders as the nominee for the Democratic Party. Um, not because I thought he would have a better chance of winning, and I liked his policies better. Whether I thought they would all be able to be implemented, I don't think so. But um, I thought he was a better candidate. Hmm. Hmm. You you broke up a little bit there. Can you repeat what you said? I'm a little. Hmm. 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 Yeah. I I do have to say the one thing I like about there's some things I like about the British politics better. You guys, uh, say you guys. I like the Yeah, I like the. You guys tend to have more parties that have better viability. We Yeah, and with American politics, it's almost exclusively a two-party system, which I like I said, I didn't like Hillary, and I didn't like Trump even more, and I would have preferred, like, I didn't really care for Jill Stein, but I thought out of all the candidates of the ones that were running, I thought she would be best, and I didn't vote for her only because I know that I didn't I while I didn't like Hillary, I really didn't like Trump, and I thought she would have. The only way I thought that I was a little worried that Trump was going to win, and well, he did. I wanted to make sure he didn't win. That's why I voted for Hillary, and I didn't think that was a good reason to vote for Hillary. Mm-hmm. Liverpool, that's where the Beatles were from. Mm-hmm. Can you? I did. What was the name of it? Hillsborough disaster. No, I've never heard of it. Mm-hmm. I have. You broke up again. I heard that they didn't vote for Tourier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had that. We've had that conversation with my Secular Student Alliance about the way we do our electoral college. That's in America. Uh, it's it's one of those that it's really tough. How do you don't want to give too much power to big cities because they'll always vote one way, but you don't want to give too much power to small counties because they're almost always going to vote another way. And it's just one of those interesting, like, I don't know. Yeah. As a computer scientist, I feel there's a better way to mathematically spread out the system better. I mean, it's not fair in some ways. I mean, if you consider the fact that in California, the value of one person's vote is like I think it was like 1/49th the value of somebody from Wisconsin, which that to me is extremely unfair because there's a lot of places in California that that are huge and are Republican in areas, and it doesn't really. I don't think it's a fair system. So yeah, I I think I don't know if it's specifically SJW. I've personally had a problem with the Electoral College for a while. I mean I'm not I'm new to making public comments about stuff like that. But you know, with friends and family, I've tried to figure out why we did it this way and what value it has. And I think it served a good purpose when it was created. But I think it gives too much power to certain people, and it also allows for gerrymandering. Um, and gerrymandering, I think, is one of the most most despicable ways of controlling politics. It, I don't know if you guys have the same problem in England. Uh, mhm, 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 hmm. That's yeah, like that's a terrible way. Like, I mean, there's no way. That's not a right way to run a government. If you, I think, if you disagree with a particular idea, then you're not giving. Then they are not giving a good enough reason for you to agree with them. And I mean that in a they should give you a good reason as far as um, arguments and not money. Money should not be what drives what drives countries. Well, it does, but mhm. Hmm. Mhm. Yeah, I always find it odd when I hear Bering is from Australia, but he talks about American politics, and Sargon of Akkad is from England, but he talks about American politics, and yeah, like that that is extremely exciting for people who love economics, but for everybody else, yeah, no, I used to live in Germany when I was younger, and I visited I traveled throughout most of Europe, and England is one of the places I went, and I always find it odd that somehow America still makes like somehow it seems like America tries to make it the whole world think about America, and I barely know much about other countries' politics. Like I know a lot of the names of the president, but you guys know what's going on. Like everywhere else seems to know what's going on in America. Like I, mhm, yeah. Yeah. Uh, you broke up there. Yeah. That was I didn't know about Brexit until probably about 2 weeks before you guys were about to vote, maybe three, and that was mostly because of YouTubers like Thunderfoot and Sargon. Uh, that's yeah, 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 and yeah, I yeah, I actually from my main YouTube channel, I've unsubscribed from Sargon because he's gotten a little too not maybe not conservative, but overly anti-liberal. It seems in some ways, and I don't mind having a neck like I don't want an echo chamber. I like hearing opposing opinions, and I still like certain things from him, but some of the time it's just getting too much for me sometimes from him. Uh, yes, yeah, hmm, yeah, 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 yeah. I think that happens far too often of demonizing the other side. There are demons on both sides. Let's put it that way. Uh, there are the liberal elite who did, and there were the conservative racists who didn't. Uh, so it's that's what I see. There was a I like Thunderfoot a lot. He's one of the main reasons I actually decided to become an atheist with his Why Do People Laugh at Creationists? I don't know if you saw that series. Yes, that's the only reason I've never actually subscribed to him. I agree with his arg. I agree with him, but I don't like. Exactly, and teach his own. I mean, I don't begrudge anybody who dislikes him or likes him. I can never watch his videos because he yells at people too much. Like, and that's I just couldn't watch it for that reason. I don't disagree with him. There are things I do disagree with him, but I disagree with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can understand that. I haven't really watched Mr. Repzion, and I don't really like. I don't dislike him. I never subscribed to him, and he hardly pops up on my recommended. Uh, I I don't really I don't know, something about him. I've never really gave me enough reason to subscribe. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but the one thing I like about Thunderfoot, and I think it mostly has to do with he is a scientist, and he has some science videos and everything. But I like when even when he's doing his SJWs and stuff, he doesn't always follow the crowd. When he goes, uh, being such a big YouTuber, he actually put out something showing it against something Lauren Southern did today. And while he got lots of flack, going against Brexit and going against Trump, he gets a lot of flack for those. But I feel he's being honest to his opinions, and I'm not saying other people aren't, but he's willing to go against the crowd he knows he's gonna have, and for that I have a lot of respect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so those are the big ones. I like Bering. I think he's funny. Yes, the recent one. It's I actually would wonder myself the same exact question. What do you? But no, did you see the one where him? It was just him and Angry McTow. Yeah. Uh, I don't understand MGTOW myself. I like I understand people's sentiments to wondering what their mom did to them, because some of the things they say, like it just seems like they like I don't understand it. And uh, no, I mean I don't have like I don't have a problem with MGTOW altogether. I mean that's everybody's own personal, but yeah. Yeah, there's there's a lot of laws that do negatively affect, and I can understand the negative affect men, and I can understand some of the frustration. But going full hate women, or maybe not hate women, but Yeah, let me just bring out a tape measure. Yeah. uh, yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Like when he was talking about why he doesn't think women should vote, have the right to vote. He was talking about he was talking about how women don't have to sign up for the draft in America, which is true. Um, but his view is like he doesn't really specify that he thinks people should have to sign up for the draft. So you could make the argument that, like personally, I don't agree with the draft, and yeah, like for me, my view is if you can't convince your country that going to war, like what they're going to war is worth fighting for, to have people sign up and possibly lose their lives, then it's not a war worth fighting. And that's my view as far as the draft. Like like the last time I know we used the draft. I don't think we've used it since then. Was the Vietnam War, and people didn't believe in the war. And so what you have is you have people who aren't prepared to fight, who don't want to go and kill, and they're doing it. But there was actually a lot of research into like a lot of people weren't aiming at people; they were shooting up in the air away from people, which is not useful, and it's putting a lot more lives in danger. Yes. Yeah, and if you need more, if you need more soldiers, convince the country they should be fighting the war. And that's and then you don't have to like. So I disagree with the draft for that reason mainly. Um, I served in the military, as I told you at the beginning, and that's I don't use that. I never try to use that as like uh, credence to my understanding, but knowledge of my experience. Um, and I've had that argument with people in the military itself. I actually didn't get along with a lot of people in the military because the military in America is often a lot of people are very conservative, and I uh, I hate it. I had a boss who he was really conservative, and he would intentionally antagonize me on different things. Like when we allowed gay people. Well, there was talk of allowing gay people to openly serve in the military, and I don't care if people openly are gay. They Yeah, well, a lot of the problems with so you get a lot of benefits being in the military in America. I think it probably goes same for in England. What I mean by benefits are things like uh, SeaWorld. You see, there was a SeaWorld here. I don't know if they closed actually now, but they would give free tickets or reduced price tickets. Uh, mhm. Yeah. So the biggest reason why a lot of people want to be able to openly serve in the military is places like SeaWorld would allow you to bring you and your family for a reduced price or less or free. I don't remember the specifics on that one, but you could bring your wife and other spouses, and but you couldn't you couldn't do it for your significant other if you were gay. And yeah, so it had to be like, so those were a big reason for wanting to be serve openly gay. And like, as far as anything, like there's already gay people who were in the military. It wouldn't make any difference beyond them being able to bring their husbands or wives or girlfriends and boyfriends, depending on whatever they were, to ceremonies or to something and say, I want to thank my significant other for yada, yada, yada. And nobody would, it would not affect more, like there should have been no effect on morale except for people who are just terrible people. And that was my boss's biggest concern with those sort of things. And so me in the like I didn't get along with a lot of people in the military for my liberal views on things like that. And it wasn't so much my liberal views, it was just trying to make rational arguments about why we should or should not do things. And so I don't know how I got on that tangent. I do that sometimes. I apologize. I have ADHD, so I I guess let me try. I try to stay on like what I try to stay where I'm thinking. Women's March that happened yesterday. Yeah. I saw a lot of. How do you feel about it? Let's start with that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 uh, I I probably will never do a video on this particular. Like, I don't like to do big group think videos, and because there are people like Carly Fiorina. I don't agree with her politics, and I don't agree with her on a lot of stuff, but she is allowed to have her own opinion, and there are people who don't share the exact same opinions as the specific standard from that march, and that's why I don't think it's a valid thing to really particularly argue. I don't mind arguing the specific ideas that people were saying. One of the main things that I saw a lot of what there, from what I understand, I didn't actually watch a lot of it. The two main things that I heard mostly was pro-choice and the pay gap. Those are the two things I saw mostly, and general anti-Trump. And I don't have a problem with the anti-Trump. He was elected, and there's a lot of people who feel disingenuous. And as long as they're protesting peacefully, that I don't care. There's a lot of reasons for being anti-Trump. Some of them good, some of them bad. So for those, those reasons, I don't really care about the anti-Trump part of it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those, like, I so like I I don't like the neo Nazis or the KKK. I think they're essentially bad people. I think their ideas are bad, and I think, yeah. But I also think they have the right. They should have the right to peacefully protest and to say what they want. And like, I won't. I will never probably. I probably won't make a video specifically about their protests. I'll maybe one day do a video about their ideas, but never specifically about not allowing them to protest or anything along those lines. And so that's part of the reason I wanted to bring this up. Was I saw um, a lot of on Twitter mostly, people criticizing the Women's March without really arguing ideas. And I hate Twitter because the 144 character, I have a hard time with it. I have to reword certain things just to fit a small idea. And I really, that's what I dislike about Twitter. For that, that's a different tangent. But there was so much. I saw a lot of sentiment from the anti-SJW that were just criticizing the movement as the whole movement's stupid because XYZ. And it's like, well, you got to understand people are frustrated. Yeah, some of them, some of them are for good reasons, some of them are for bad reasons. Uh, I don't care. Like, that was just, that's what I disliked from yesterday. The co-chair, oh, the Muslim woman, right? Yeah. uh, yeah. I I To piggyback on that idea, I one of the I think I scared somebody away from one of our secular student alliance meetings. Going back to that, she came. There was a younger, probably a freshman, I think she was, and we were having one of our normal conversations, talking about religions and stuff. And I don't know how we got on the topic, but we got on the topic of Islam, and the girl was like, "Oh, Islam is a religion of peace," and I was like, I disagree with that. I think all religions are not a religion of peace. I think all religions are a peace for them, um, and so I brought up some statistics about how Muslims feel about gay people and how they feel about this, and I don't think she enjoyed having that sentiment um, challenged. And I'm not saying that all Muslims are bad. In fact, I did do a tour in Afghanistan, and most of the Afghans that I met were very nice people. uh, you always have to be cognizant of them because you're fighting a war against with people from their country, and so you always it was a very odd thing to be served by them because in the dining facilities they were the ones who were giving you food. It was a way of giving them jobs and money to put into their economy to show good faith and trying to do stuff. And um, and it was always weird for me. It was weird because I ate a lot of bacon, and I love bacon. It was one of my favorite things, and it was weird being served bacon by Muslim people because they don't eat it, obviously. And but there's a lot of misunderstanding about the Middle East, even with I think the anti-SJW. Um, there. Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so one of the things, if I remember, one of the things we had to get trained before we went to Afghanistan. Just basic training things like, and there was a culture class, and one of the things that we were told, I haven't actually looked into this since, but part of the things I think people misunderstand is how ignorant people of Afghanistan are to their own religion. Um, and I don't say ignorant in the sense of like they're ignorant by choice, but only 8% of the country. Now, this is what I remember: 8% of the country is literate, and that's to their own language. And there's multiple languages that go on in Afghanistan, Dari and other Pashto and other languages. And the only book that they accept reading is in Arabic. So they're all like, even if they were able to read, they may not be able to read the Arabic language. So people assume just because they're terrorists means they're true Islam, like they truly believe in Islam, and which isn't completely true because a lot of people are ignorant to their own religion because they're being told about their religion. No, I'm not heard of him. Hmm. I think there's some terrible things in the Quran. Yeah. Yeah. The no, I mean, just because just because I make the argument about terrorists aren't necessarily truly Muslim because they don't understand their own religion, that doesn't mean I think Muslim is a good religion. I mean, I like to watch what are they? The Quran Reloaded and the Bible Reloaded. Do you watch them? Uh, they're actually, I like their things. They do good, but they do essentially Bible studies and Quran studies, but they do it in a with an atheist perspective or a non-religious perspective, one where they read it and they try to decipher what it actually means in in a more modern language, and they discuss the problems with it and they make jokes, and it's fun. It's a fun videos to watch. Some of them get a little dry because Bibles and Qurans are kind of boring at points, but there's a lot of bad stuff in those things, and that's what it's really. I don't. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, there are people who actually believe that. Oh, those. And that's one of those things. Like Europe is actually a lot more atheist than America is, and I have my theories about why, but we get, I don't know how often you guys get. Do you? I'm sure there's Jehovah's Witnesses in. uh, uh, I'm sure I kind of feel bad if they get a lot of knocks because that'd be annoying. But no, that sounds hilarious. Uh, but um, so I get knocks at my door probably once a month, maybe once every other month, from different, often Jehovah's Witnesses, but sometimes Mormons, sometimes Christians where I live. Of other, well, I mean, they're all Christian. Uh, they may not agree that they're all Christian, but yeah, yeah. Um, so I, there are some of them, the Jehovah's Witnesses. A lot of them too tend to believe that God handed people the Bible, or uh, in the yeah, in the case of Mormons, they believe God spoke directly through Joseph. I think that was his name. Don't quote me on that. Through looking glasses, and it's like, so there are a lot of, in America. I think there's probably a lot more of that than in Europe. I'm sure there are those in Europe, but yeah. Well, I agree. Well, screw insensitivity. Let's be honest. No, there are crazy people everywhere, and I don't think it's insensitive. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think the most insensitive person that is to is people who have mental disorders, who are actually crazy, because it's not their fault, but it is Christian people's fault for believing. um, so no, go ahead. Um, I don't remember where I was going with that. But yeah, yeah. The we also have Ken Ham and the whole Answers from Genesis group here. Are you familiar with him? Yes. Yeah. Oh, hey, we got somebody in the chat. Hi, Demelin. That's exciting. Somebody's actually watching. I think that's you, me, and him. Well, welcome to our stream. I don't know how much longer it's going to go, but yeah, welcome. Yeah. I've gotten to talk to a couple of Westboro Baptist people. They're fun to talk to. They ignore anything that you have to say unless it's exactly what they want to hear. I don't know how anybody can do that. It's amazing. But no, Kinham, Answers from Genesis isn't the Westboro Baptist. They're a bit different. They're the ones. Answers from Genesis is they own the Creationist Museum. It is 11 p.m. in the UK, isn't it? Yeah. So they recently created they use some taxpayer money, which I completely disagree with, but they use taxpayer money for making Noah's Ark, which is what they consider a 1-to-1 scale of what Noah's Ark would be, but they didn't make it where it could actually float on water. It's just like a big building that you can go in, and it's like another museum. That's, I don't know where that one is, but who am I talking to? I am talking to ThatLawfulNeutral. And if you're wondering who she's talking to, I'm Calm Destruction. I'm in America, much less boring than Britain. I live in the desert, so it's always the best weather, except it. No, I loved when I was in England, because I loved, let's see, what was it? The London. What was it? It was like an entertainment thing where basically they show the worst of England. Like they had like a thing with the bubonic plague, and they had a thing of the London fire, and it was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, we're messed. Our country's messed up. I don't know what we're gonna do about it. Yeah, like that's what I was telling you. People around the world like to talk, like they know American presidents. Yeah, no, I completely agreed. I'm not a Trump supporter at all, DeMillan. And it's, as far as I know, so it's that lawful neutral. We don't. No, me either. But yeah, to me, the main thing that I disliked about Trump was his anti-science. I'm a huge advocate for science. I don't think there's a better way of trying to. What would you do if I caught a plane to U.S. right now? Probably nothing. I don't know. I'm a huge advocate for science, and because I think science is the best way to try to discern what reality is. And Trump, I think, is not going to be good for science. in a similar manner, I don't think Brexit is going to be good for science for the same in the same way. Yeah. I'm not a huge. I don't know cars. I'm a computer scientist. If you give me a computer, I can tell you exactly everything from it. But give me a car, and I'll point to the driver's seat and say that's where I drive. That's about it. But no, I like the not the Top Gear, the new one, but I like the Grand Tour. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. No, I mean no, those guys are great. They're I like Top Gear because of them. They were funny. The cars were cool and the things they did were fun, but I I didn't watch it for the cars. I watched it for their sense of humor. Grant, I actually have Amazon Prime, so yeah, I have Amazon Prime, so I've not had to illegally download that particular show, or or any or any other show for that matter. No, Grand Tour is great. Their shows, like, you can tell they spend a lot of money on each episode, though. I think I read something like 4.9 million per episode, which for a TV show is extremely high. Uh, mhm. Yeah, no, it's amazing that he was actually able to come back from punching a producer. That's something that's usually career ending. And how old? 19. Wow, I'm 28. Oh, very cool. I I Yeah, stop being so young, all of you. Ugh, I hate young people. I'm just kidding. I have expressed interest in that when I get old. I want to have a rocking chair and not a real shotgun, just one so I can like scare people as I rock back and forth. Be like, "Grr, get off my lawn." Who knows? By then we'll have flying cars. I'm assuming. Nah, I don't think flying cars is ever going to be a you're 16 and you work, huh? Demelon is 16 and works. Yeah. I That's what I did. I passed high school. This was almost 10 years ago now, but I passed high school with a 1.8 GPA. Oh, sorry. Yeah, British people, you guys do things differently. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have grades too. We have a GPA system to signify how many. So the way it works, yeah, it's kind of like that. But the way it works is they take the average. So in high school, the way it worked, it's a little different in college because credits have different values. How many credit hours each class is worth have different credit hours. But in high school, each class is basically worth the same. And if you had an A, you got a 4.0 GPA. If you had straight A's in every class, you had a 4.0. It is possible to get higher than a 4.0 if you have higher than an A, which is basically you did all the work and all the extra credit, and only certain classes were allowed to give it. And B's were threes, C's were twos, D's were ones, and so a 1.8 GPA means that I got in the range of D to C range on all my class out of the average. Yeah, I do have a car, DeMelon. Um, I actually own a motorcycle as well. That's how I do most of my commuting to and from school. It's a 35-minute drive from where I live to my school. So with my motorcycle, I get 66 miles per gallon, and that saves me a lot of money because being a student, I don't make a lot of money. Hmm. Hmm. That sounds amazing. Like those are the kind of things that I wish, like maybe it could be refined. I'm sure there's some way yeah, I'm sure there's ways that it could be refined, but college is not for everybody, and it's tough to like it's tough uh, affording it. I Most of my college is paid by my previous military experience, but I'm now having to pull out loans to pay for the rest. So the way we have a thing called a Pell Grant where we have to fill out something, and if you make a certain amount of money, you can get so much Pell Grant, which is if the max I think right now, if for the 2 semesters, is 5,200 or 5,500. I don't remember the exact amount. The and that can either be used towards your tuition, or if you have another way of paying for your tuition, such as a loan, you can use it towards living off of. Um, Not free. Yeah. Hmm. I lost you there for a second. Okay. Yeah. It's a challenging system. Demillen wants to know, do we like sports? You do what? Martial arts? Oh, what martial which form? A second what? Oh, okay. Can you hear? Okay, so can you hear the guy or the girl? It's hard to tell. I don't know. Yeah, I did Taekwondo for a while. I'm a yellow black belt because they do. I don't think all martial arts have uh, two levels. So I was between a yellow and a orange belt. Um, that's how they did it, and that's about the most martial arts I've done. I enjoy martial arts. I'd actually prefer if next time I do martial arts, I'd like to learn kendo. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I liked. I do enjoy. Um, and I've always wanted to get in fights. I'm not. I don't like to like. I want to try it just to see how good I am. Not because I actually want to fight people, but I think it would be fun. Oh, he wants to be a pro boxer. That's yeah. Hopefully you can. Yeah. Um. Anyways, I gotta get. I think we've been going for about an hour and a half. Yeah. But you have. Yeah, we'll have to do this again. We'll see if we can find some more people. And I, one last question from Demelin. He wants to know if we've ever been in a street fight. I have not as well. I've been in a fight with my brother, uh, which is why I don't talk to my family anymore. But, but yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. The fight with my brother was him trying to throw me slipping out from him, me trying to hit him in the gut. Things, it was not a fun fight, but never been in a street fight myself. Yeah, I'm a, I was the exact same person. Uh, I try to not get too big of an argument with people. Well, anyways, yeah, this has been great. We'll have to totally do this again. We'll have to make some more friends and do this again. At least we'll see what we'll get in contact and see when another good time is. And Demelin, if you enjoyed our stream, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to us? We'll that way you can know when we do our next one. Yeah. All right. Bye, Lawful. It was good talking to you. All right. Bye.